Hello, so today's video is a video that I thought would be very helpful for parents who have never sent their children to daycare before and are thinking about enrolling them into a daycare. These are just some questions that I think are important to ask the daycare before enrolling your child or when you are comparing daycares, just like food for thought for parents. Because I typed in online like what questions they're suggesting that the daycare or like parents ask a daycare, and the care.com says how qualified is the center, how safe is the center, what happens if your child is sick, which is a very good question, what is the staff to child ratio, which is another good question, what is the curriculum and parenting style, what is the transportation situation, what is the visitation policy. The first thing that I would suggest you ask is compare rates. So find out a list of daycares that you are thinking about going to, the names, how much does this one cost weekly, how much does this one cost weekly, and how much does this one cost weekly. Or some daycares make you do it monthly. So if it is monthly, make sure you ask, if my child is enrolled full-time and we are on vacation for a week, do we still have to pay for that week? So that's another good question. My second question that I would ask the daycare center is, if my child is sick or if they have a shot or are they teething, would you administer the Tylenol, or do we need a doctor's note to administer the Tylenol, or do I have to leave work? To drive all the way over to the daycare to give my child Tylenol? So that's another good question to ask, because depending on the age of your child, if your child's 6 weeks old and you're enrolling them into a daycare, say goodbye to all your PTO time because you're going to be leaving work and driving all the way over to the daycare just to give your child Tylenol every time they have 99 or 100 degree fever. Or if it gets up to, I think the temperature is 100.5, that you have to come and pick your child up. So my thing is give her the Tylenol before it reaches that point, so I don't have to come pick up my child, because you and I both know that it's because of teething, and she really doesn't need to be home with me. She's perfectly fine. She's just teething. So that's something else for a parent to take into consideration when looking for a daycare. The third question that I would ask is my child going to be sleeping on a cot or the floor? So generally when they are like in the 6 months to 1 year, they're in a room that has cribs for the children. But then after that, some daycares will have children bring in sleeping bags and sleep on the floor, or they have mats and the children sleep on the mats. Or in my case, my daycare has a cot that my daughter sleeps on, which is awesome. I love it. The fourth question would be, do I have to pack my child's lunch every day, or is the food provided? Now, parents may like to pack their children's lunch, but if you're a busy parent and some days you don't want to like half-ass your child's lunch, it's definitely a pro if the daycare provides the lunch, especially when you are spending that much money. It's nice to get the biggest bang for your buck. That's just how I feel. My fifth question would be, are diapers provided? Now, the daycare that we're at currently, we provide our own diapers, which is fine. But I do know some daycares do provide diapers. I don't mind sending my daughter with her own diapers just because she is sensitive to Huggies and the, what's it called? I think it's Loves. I'm not sure, but the only ones that really work for her are Pampers or Target brand diapers. My sixth question would be, when an incident does happen, how is the parent notified? If there's a mark on my child, is there an incident report written up right away? If there's an injury to my child, are you going to call me right away? How am I going to be notified? That is something that I think is very important for parents to know, for so many reasons. So always bring that up. Number 7 would be, if my child does have a binky or a comfort item, when do they get to use that? That's just something I think is important to ask. And then my 8th question would be, what is the student to teacher ratio? I do know that there's like a certain amount, like depending on the age group, but I do think that's a very important question for parents to ask. That's just me though. So those are just my suggestions of questions you should ask when going to a daycare. Some tips that I would have when looking around daycares is, before you set up your tour, show up at the daycare unannounced to say, hey, I'm in the area, I was just looking for new daycares, I saw yours is close to me, do you mind if I check it out really quick? Because they don't have time to prep, like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know you're coming, so you get to see the daycare as it is. Also, make sure whatever daycare you are sending your child to is pretty safe. The daycare that we have right now, you have to go through 2 separate doors to get in, which I really like because it's less of a chance of a child just running out. You have to type in a code, so that's pretty cool. Other than that, I wish everyone the best of luck, and I hope this video was helpful. If it was, make sure you like and subscribe.